happy. Today, Avid announced that Phrasefind and ScriptSync are back for Media Composer. That's right, in February 2017, both will be making a triumphant return to Media Composer 8.8. What does that mean for you? Couple things. First off, it means all those systems that are frozen in version 6.5 or 7, you can now upgrade to the latest and greatest that Avid offers. It also means you can get newer, faster editing machines with newer OSs. Want to find out more? Find us at keycodemedia.com.
I was so excited to hear that ScriptSync was coming back because it's something that is, an irreplaceable part of our workflow.
When I try to describe what ScriptSync is to people who've never seen it before, I ask them if they've ever seen the line script that a script supervisor will be creating on set. You have the dialogue on the page, and this is a file that's next to the dialogue that you can click on that takes you to that line of dialogue. It's invaluable.
The reason I use ScriptSync is because it makes editing way more efficient. To the person who hasn't seen a ScriptSync before, it probably takes about 15 hours out of my week. I mean, it speeds up my process that much. And it's changed the way I edit.
Everyone has their own way of working, and oftentimes I think it takes someone else showing you a new tool in order for you to truly see the benefits to your workflow.
When other editors come to visit my office, one of the first things that I show them is ScriptSync because it's so cool. So I will just come up with a phrase that I remember somebody saying, and I'll show them how I can quickly go to that moment and then press and play. They're always very impressed by that.
Because when I edit by searching through material, especially these days where the directors just let the camera run, this makes sure that I'm just watching what's shot for the show.
With ScriptSync, it's just one quick action. You search for the thing you need, it pulls up all the possible variations, and I quickly play them one after another.
I don't think there's any way to go through like an hour and a half of dailies that fast and be able to find the exact performances without the ScriptSync software.
If a director says, could I see every reading of this one specific line of dialogue from that angle, I can just boom, 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 show them to them almost immediately.
It permits me more time in my day to focus on the creative aspect of what I do and less time where I'm just looking through footage. It's invaluable.
I'm very happy that it's back.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. My name is Michael Kamas and I'm the Director of Technology here at Keycode Media and also the host of the 5 Things Tech series. Today, in conjunction with Avid and EditStock, we're broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook to reach as many people as possible. Why? Well, 2 of my all-time favorite tools are back. Phrasefind and ScriptSync are back and now available inside Media Composer. So, today we're going to go over these 2 tools, how they work, their pricing, and all that's involved with upgrading. Plus, we have several folks from Avid monitoring the live streams to answer any questions that you may have. So, during the webinar, get those fingers moving and ask some questions. Now, for those of you who don't know Keycode Media, listen up. We're a systems integrator, reseller, consultancy, and tech powerhouse. We have many offices across the U.S., where for over 15 years we've supported not just the film, TV, and independent production community, but also corporate, government, education, and house of worship. Media creation spans every facet of our lives, and we want to ensure that the right choices are made. We've also recently jumped into the education and training markets as well, with the founding of AMPed, which is the Academy of Media Professionals. This means we can not only help you choose the right tech to make your next project fly, but also ensure that you know how to use it. Now, Keycode has become one of the top Avid dealers in the world. We know Avid, and we know everything else in the industry that plays with Avid, and that includes Nexidia. If you're keeping score at home, Avid has announced that they've signed an exclusive distribution deal with Nexidia. Nexidia, if you didn't know, is the outfit that created the tech behind Phrasefind and ScriptSync options that were previously available in older versions of Media Composer. This new deal paved the way for Phrasefind and ScriptSync to make a triumphant return to the Avid family. And so, after a several-year hiatus, these options are now back inside Media Composer, starting with version 8.8. In a nutshell, both the Phrasefind and ScriptSync options enable you to manipulate your media based on what's being heard in the audio tracks. They're add-on options for Media Composer and require their own license, which, of course, we're happy to help you with. Let's jump right into the new options, starting with Phrasefind. As mentioned, Phrasefind 2.0 works with Media Composer 8.8. It won't work with older versions of Media Composer, just like old versions of Phrasefind won't work with the newer version of Media Composer. And in case you haven't used it before, here's how Phrasefind works. Phrasefind, using Nexidia's phonetic indexing technology, scans your media files and analyzes the phonemes in the audio portions of your media. These are the components of a word, the individual sounds your mouth makes, not complete words. This is why you can search for people's names or even slang inside Phrasefind. That's also why Phrasefind doesn't generate captioning, which is a common question and feature request. Again, the tech is finding and matching components of words, not matching complete words. Now that we have that out of the way, Phrasefind is actually really easy to use. Import or link to the media you want to have indexed. Phrasefind scans the media in the background. It's not a resource hog, so you won't lose much performance while editing if Phrasefind is working in the background. At this point, I'm going to hit save, as Phrasefind won't start indexing until I save the product at least once. I'm going to pause it here so I can point out a few things. How long does indexing take? That's dependent on a lot of things. How fast your system is, how many clips you have, and what your media is sitting on. Speeds of 20 to 40 times faster than real time are not uncommon, so it really flies through the indexing process. You can monitor the progress of the indexing if you so desire down here. We can monitor both the progress of the bin index as well as the overall Phrasefind progress. This way you can still work with the results of one bin even if the complete index of the entire media import or link hasn't finished yet. While we're talking about the index, in each project folder, you'll also see a folder called Phonetic Data, which contains a number of files with a .pat extension. These files contain the phonetic information for each of the audio clips within your project. One PAT file will be created per clip. This folder, kind of like your Avid Media Files folder, stores 5,000 files before a new folder is created. As of now, there isn't a way to share this index database with other users, even on the same network. In collaborative workflows, having the ability to have an assistant log, organize, and index would be great. But alas, this feature is not available in Phrasefind 2.0. Okay, let me unpause this so the system can continue to index. Down here, we also have what language Phrasefind is going to match to. Choose only one of the 15 or so languages Phrasefind supports. Also, you can only utilize one language per project. You can, however, get other language packs from your Avid Master account at avid.com. Now, let's go back to the top of the window. As you may have noticed, you have options to search using the traditional Find button as well as Phrasefind, so be sure to click the right one when searching. We also have the traditional filters to narrow down your search. We can add additional filters to help refine our search if need be. Normally for Phrasefind, I narrow down by bins. Phrasefind will search clips, subclips, and group clips, but as of now, it will not search any sequences. It also will not search within the media tool. All right, let's do a search. It doesn't matter if you misspell something. Well, why? Well, remember, Phrasefind is indexing how words sound, so as long as you spell the word how it sounds, you're golden. Once results are returned, you get notified at the bottom of the total results, and if any results were omitted due to filters. The results pane tells you the name of the clip, what bins it's in, and other metadata, but more importantly, what the score is. The higher the score, the better. Phrasefind uses a score of 100 as a perfect match, with decreasing accuracy down to 50. Scores above 75 or 80 tend to be pretty reliable. Obviously, the more noise you have in the scene, the speech patterns of the talent and proper mixing all play factors in how accurate the results are. Now, once you find a result you think might be applicable, double-click on it.
Money.
The enclosing bin will open up with that clip selected, and the clip at that point in time will populate in your Composer window so you can preview it.
Money. Money in here.
I know, it's pretty simple for how much time it saves. If you have footage you may not have logged completely, or you need to steal a word or phrase from a different shot, or need to cobble together a Frankenbite, this tool is a lifesaver. Okay, let's move on to ScriptSync, which utilizes the same Phrasefind technology behind it. We first need to start off by getting your script into Media Composer. Now, make sure to have your script in a text format. To be more specific, a plain text form, not a PDF or a Word doc. It also helps if you have the same scene number listed at the appropriate place in your script. It's not mandatory, but I'll show you in a minute where that helps immensely. Next, go to the scene you want to sync media with. This is where it helps to have the scene number in the file name as well as in the script. That way you can easily determine what clips correspond to what scene in your script. Next, select the clips that correspond to the portion in the script. Once you release them, you'll see they adhere to the section of the script you highlighted before. Don't worry if you forgot about a clip, you can always add it later. Next, lasso everything in the highlighted script, the text and the clips. Click on Script, then ScriptSync. We get a ScriptSync options panel, where we can select other languages, we can define what audio tracks to try and sync by, and also other options which may help filter out portions of your script that are not spoken. Once you have your options set, click OK. Then the magic happens. The takes now line up with the clips, so you have insight into what was said in each take without listening to it. Now, these results may look familiar to some of you, as it closely resembles what you would see on set. That is, a marked up line script. The marks that appear in the script correspond to when in that clip the word or line of dialogue is spoken. Double-clicking on the clip loads it in your Composer window, with endpoints already marked. If we return to the Find window, you can change tabs to the Script Text tab, where you can search your script too. Double-clicking on a result highlights that result in the script, just as Phrasefind does for your clip in the bin.
Understanding. Understanding.
It's really that simple. You can now put together a rough cut more quickly, find alt takes more easily, and overall, give yourself more time to create rather than just organizing. On to pricing. The pricing is actually less than it was with version 1. This makes it a very inexpensive investment to really speed up your creative edit prep. There are a couple options here. You can buy Phrasefind and ScriptSync individually or as a bundle. And if you're a student, there are discounted prices as well. And if you're still holding out on your version 6, 5, or 7 flavors of Media Composer with the older Phrasefind and ScriptSync licenses, there is upgrade pricing available. There are a few things I want you to consider. Phrasefind and ScriptSync have been absent from Media Composer for several years. This means that the hardware and software you were running several years ago may not be the best choice for the newer version of Media Composer. In the past few years, Media Composer has had hundreds of bug fixes, many speed improvements, and tons of functionality add-ons. Little things like 4K workflows, HDR, and newer camera plugins that allow you to access camera raw data. Now, all of these newfangled tools do require some extra horsepower. Your computer may need a new OS, or perhaps your computer just isn't powerful enough to handle all that Media Composer 8.8 brings to the table. This could include adding more RAM, adding a beefier graphics card, or maybe even a faster boot drive. If you're in a collaborative shared storage environment, this may mean your shared storage needs to be updated as well. You also need to examine what other software components in your workflow may be impacted by jumping into Media Composer 8.8. It's not a decision to be taken lightly, And that's why we're here. It's definitely something to think about and something that we handle on a daily basis here at KeyCode. So I encourage you to reach out. Let's chat, let's whiteboard, and let's come up with a solution for you on your next project. Big thanks to Avid and EditStock, and more importantly, you. I'm Michael Kamas. Thanks for tuning in and checking this webinar out.